Okay, I've got an idea for a game based on Alien. It's the first movie. Also, maybe based on the computer game Alien Isolation, or inspired by that. It's basically the idea is the board would be your the big ship that you have to get as many crew out to the escape pod, and without the alien, which is travelling around, killing you. The idea would basically be you would have missions that you would have to go to certain parts of the board to pick up something from the infirmary or something from the medic lab or med lab or something like that, right? And so you'd have to get there and then get to the escape pod from a starting point. And if you got killed, then you have you just try and do as many. I don't know how the game would end, but it would end at a certain point, and that would be maybe there's a countdown like in the Alien movies when it's all going to explode, and you've got to get out as many crew as possible. You could have it, that you play a few characters at once, that sort of thing. The game that this is really inspired by would be Cluedo the Museum Caper. Not many people know of this game. That game was actually inspired by a game called Scotland Yard. In both of these games, there's a character. Let's just talk about Cluedo Museum Caper. Everyone in the game plays a detective, and there's a museum, and another player plays the thief, who's going around trying to steal paintings. But he uses a pad to say where he's moving, right? And then now and then he can steal a painting, and then a couple of turns later a painting gets taken off the board, and that's how you know where he's been travelling. And all the other detectives are trying to catch him. It's a really cool idea, that you've got a character that's playing on the board, but no one can see where they're moving. And I initially thought, you could do that with an Alien game where someone's playing the alien, trying to pick off all the crew, and the other players are playing the crew, trying to do their missions and get out. And I like, based on the alien thing, there's no way you can really kill the alien. You've just got to try and avoid getting killed by the alien. The final the thing I wanted to try, and this is what I want your help with. I've got a game dynamic challenge. What I wanted to try and work out is, could you make a game where the alien is not played by a character at all? That there's an element of AI in the game. So basically, I'm trying to work out board game AI. Right? It's easy to do in a computer game, or there's hit and miss on how well they do it. But I'm trying to think of very, very simple board game AI. How would you do it? How would you have a character like an alien that moves around the board based on simple principles? Principles that have elements of luck, elements of predictability, so you can try to avoid the alien, but you maybe you don't give it such a wide berth because you've got to complete your missions. So that's where the element of chance sort of comes in. One of the ways I've thought is that each turn you know where the alien is, and then you roll to see. First you know where the alien starts, say, and then you pick up a card that says another point on the map or on the board, like the infirmary, like all these different locations. Maybe there's a grid and it just gives a grid reference. And then you roll the dice, and the alien, which you everyone would move. The alien piece moves that many. You say you roll a 5, it moves 5 spaces towards the direction of that grid reference or that room, and so because you don't know the grid reference that it's going to be, and you don't know the roll of the dice, you don't actually know where each turn the alien's going to move. There's an element of randomness about it. But you know that it's only going to move up to 6 spaces away from where it presently is. Right? You could do that, or it rolls a double, so just to increase the potential, the chance. Or you could use a 20-sided dice, and so you don't actually know. There's a lot more variables, or something like that. In addition to that, you could have things where, if once you've collected the thing from the room that you're going to, that always creates noise once you've collected whatever you're collecting, and so that room will be the location that it will travel towards. And there may be a variety of things you do that create noise. You could even set up noisemakers or an explosion or something like that to attract the alien, so it will go towards that direction. So there's lots of a variety of things that you could do to force it so it travels towards you, or travels to away from where you want, an opposite direction you're traveling. And that's about as far as I've got. I'm not sure if that game dynamic would work, just that idea of AI moving. I'm not sure how you would decide how it would travel, in terms of, like, your natural instinct would be make it go the longest way towards that grid reference. But maybe if it's just a pure grid, maybe it's just, up, down. You could also have elements of, if the alien can see you when it gets to its resting spot, i.e. that you have sight lines, like in the game Kill Dr. Lucky. All these games you might not know, but I'm inspired by them. You could have sight lines, so if it can see you, i.e. a wall isn't blocking its view of you in straight lines, say, then it rolls again and tries to travel towards you. And that's its new location, or something like that. Or, you could do a variety of things like that, where you've actually not only got to keep away from it, you've also got to keep out of its line of sight. And you'd have to have something that if you were just in certain proximity to it, it would attack you. So that's my idea. Send me an email at hello@simoncamilleri.com, or you can look me up on Facebook and send me a message, and tell me what you think. Do you think the game would work? Do you think it would just be boring, like, you're traveling here? What could make the game more exciting? Ultimately, what I love is games that have a really good theme that you're consistent with. So a theme like this one would be the theme of the movie Alien, and something so it always feels really like you're in that movie, as much as possible. So there might be secret narrow tunnels or things like that, see what you come up with, and hopefully you like the idea.